Hello and welcome to this week's video tutorial on chart elements. In this video, I will be going through the process of creating a chart and reviewing different chart types. I have Levitt Winery opened, and I'll begin by introducing a new function to our library, the payment function. I have entered some loan information into a table and want to find out more about what the payments will be on a $310,000 loan. The interest rate will be 8% a year, or 0.67% per month if I divide it by 12, and the monthly payments will be made over 10 years. So that means 120 payments total if I multiply C7 times C9. In the monthly payment cell, I'll click on the Insert Function icon, or F of X, and I'll type the word payment and hit Go to find the function. Here I see payment PMT. I'll select it and click OK. Here I can enter the pertinent information and Excel will create the syntax for me. First, the rate per period is C8, so I'll go ahead and click on C8 tab, and next is the total number of payments for the loan. And we can see the definition of N per at the bottom of the screen. I'll click on C10 because the number of payments is 120. Tab to PV. PV is the present value of the loan, and that is C5 or 310,000. And going to FV, the future value is going to be 0, and that's the default, so I'll leave that alone. Also, the type default is 0, which means that the payment will be made at the end of the period, or the end of the first month. So with everything in place, I'll go ahead and click OK. You can see here the monthly payment will be $3,761.16. This is a negative value to represent money being paid out. For the annual total, I'll go ahead and type equals and then multiply that monthly payment times 12 payments per year, and then hit enter. So my annual total is going to be about $45,000 for the year. If I want to decrease my loan value to see what the payments would be, I can type in $250,000 and hit enter. Now I see the monthly payment goes down to about $3,000 a month. I'll hit undo to go back to $310,000. I'm going to take this annual total of $45,000 over to my projected cash flow sheet and enter it in as a loan repayment amount. Here I'll type in $45,000, enter, and then take that and autofill it all the way across the row. This means I'll be paying $45,000 each year for the next 10 years. Now back on the overview sheet, we can look at the production goals for each type of wine. I can chart these by selecting the range, including the headings, and clicking on the Quick Analysis button in the bottom right-hand corner. I'll choose Charts, and then select a pie chart. Here it gives me a visual of what it will look like. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. You can see that Excel has chosen a title at the top and created a legend at the bottom for each type of wine. The pie sizes are based on the number of cases being produced for each type of wine. It's that easy. I can drag this chart to the location I'd like it to be in the worksheet. If I hold down the Alt key and drag it, it will click into place. Now I can go to the handle in the bottom right-hand corner and move the bottom up to row 27. Again, if I hold the Alt key down and move that, it will click right into place. To remove the title, I can click on the chart until I see Handles, and then move over to the plus sign on the right-hand side. This is called Chart Elements. When I click on Chart Title to deselect it, the chart title disappears. If I click on Data Labels, I can see the data that corresponds to each pie slice. To choose a different chart style, I'll click on the next icon to see a gallery of possible styles. I'll scroll down to style number 12 and select it and select the icon to close. The legend can be placed on the right-hand side of the chart by going to Chart Elements again, scrolling over to Legend, and then clicking on the side arrow to bring up options. I'd like the legend to appear on the right-hand side. Now I'll go to Legend again and go to More Options to format the legend. This brings out the formatting pane from the right. I'll click on the Fill icon, click on the Fill arrow if I need to expand it, and click on Solid Fill. Now I can choose a color. I think I'll choose Gold Accent lighter 60%. Next, I'll click on the border down arrow to bring up border options, and I'll click on the solid line option. I can make that border a color, so I'll select gray accent 3, lighter 80%. Now going up to effects, I can create shadow behind the legend by clicking on this presets down arrow and choosing a shadow. I'm going to choose this offset diagonal bottom right. Now going to legend options at the top, I can choose the series data labels to format them. I'll click on these label options and click on percentage and take off the value. I'll make the label position now on the outside end. And expanding the number choices, I'll go ahead and change the category from general to percentage and make it 1 decimal place. To change the pie slice colors, I can simply click on the slice that I'd like to change. I'm going to click on Cabernet Franc until the handles appear only around that pie slice. Go to the Home tab and click on the fill icon, and I'll choose green accent 6, lighter 40%. Notice how the legend also changes. I can change the chart area color by clicking anywhere outside of the pie and going to fill, and I'll go to gold accent 4, lighter 80%. Lastly, I can filter to show only white wines by clicking on the filter icon and deselecting the Pinot, the Cabernet, and the Ruby. And then I'll hit apply. Here, 50% of the white wines produced will be Chardonnay. I'll click on the filter icon again to go back to showing all the wines by hitting select all twice. And then I'll hit apply. To create a column chart, I'll go to the projected cash flow worksheet and select the range B4 to L4, hold down the control key, hit B10, hold down the shift key to L10, select range B18, shift key to L18, and then go to the ribbon to click on the Insert tab and insert a chart based on this data. In the Charts group, I'll click on Recommended Charts. The first recommended chart is a clustered column chart. We're going to hit OK to select that type of chart. I'll give this chart a chart style of number 14. Click on Chart Styles to close it, and then in the Chart Tools Design tab, I can move this chart to another sheet. So I'm going to click on the Move Chart button to make it an object in the Overview sheet. I'll select Overview and then click OK. Now I can move this chart to where I would like it on the sheet. I'm going to click and drag it over to F16. And then I'll resize the bottom of it to fit into cell M29. Now I'll click on the chart title and change it to Projected Revenue and Expenses. Click on the Home tab and I'll change the font to Calibri Light and change the font color to Blue Accent 1. Lastly, to create a stacked column chart, I'll go back over to my projected cash flow sheet and highlight the range of B4 to L4 and B13 using the control key to L17. Now on the Insert tab, I'll go over to the icon that says Column Chart and then hover over the icons until I see Stacked Column Chart. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and I'll apply style number 11 to this chart. Click on the icon again to close it, and I'll move this chart over to the Overview sheet. Now I'll move this chart down to F31 and move the lower right-hand handle to M43. I'll give it a title of Breakdown of Business Expenses, and then I'll highlight, go to the Home tab, take off the bold, change it to Calibri Light, and change the font to Blue Accent 1. This concludes this video tutorial on chart elements. I'm sure you've noticed Excel has made the creation of charts a very easy process. Join me for part 2, where we look at more chart types.